Hello and welcome back to Bangs and Trash, where we've come off of watching the best and worst movies of 1998, as rated on Letterboxd.com. You said you wanted to compare the two, Nathan. We've got Children of the Board, directed by Alex Zam, and Eternity and a Day, directed by, was it Theo Angelopoulos?
Yes. So, not a huge comparison, but it was really funny because the time, like the length of these two movies, utterly shocked me.
Hmm.
Because Chairman of the Board is one of the most, like, frantic pieces of shit I've ever had to sit through, of just, like, constant noise. And Eternity of the Day, very slow, very, like, deliberate in its movements.
Mm.
Somehow still felt less like an Eternity in a Day than watching Chairman of the Board. I came out of this movie having no knowledge of what had just happened in the last hour and a half. This is Chairman of the Board, and yet still feeling like I'd been put through like the fucking spin cycle.
So sometimes when I'm making notes, I'll put a little time code to make sure I'm aware of when I had whatever realization.
Yep.
3 minutes and 50 seconds in, I have written down not a movie with jokes, just noise. And I
Just
think that
noise.
kind of sticks throughout the entire film because I think I got one actual joke that it didn't make me laugh, but it did make my scowl upturn just enough to kind
Mm.
of flatten out. But man, there are like no jokes.
Please tell me what part was funny,
Well, for
maybe funny.
context, chairman of the board is you've got Carrot Top, famous question mark comedian.
Yeah, well, known for being in Family Guy skits.
Yeah, and big ginger hair.
Like he
Um,
himself is the punchline most of the time,
yeah,
and not in like a friendly way either. Like he's the punchline to comedians who are better than him, and it's funny to reference how he's not funny.
I was wondering if I should look him up to like know more about him. I looked up his reaction to Norm Macdonald making fun of this movie.
Yeah,
He seemed okay with it. We'll talk
I
more about that
mean,
in a bit, but like that's about all I know of him.
I would have loved if he wasn't. I'd love to see Carrot Top try and come out and like say that actually Norm Macdonald isn't funny. All he does is tell jokes that no one laughs at, and I'm like, yeah, that's the bit. That's actually
It's the
like that's
funniest
why it's
thing
really
ever.
funny. Yeah,
Um, so yeah, Carrot Top is playing Edison, who
Edison.
is
Yeah,
a surfer, inventor, moron, genius. He's kind of just a vehicle for
he
himself to be noisy.
like he's a cartoon character, right? Like this is a movie that the only reason it isn't animated is because you need to know that Carrot Top is in it, and also they didn't animate movies in 1997 or eight even.
We're
Um,
literally 1 year away from watching The Iron Giant, but we've got Green Mile instead. They're
okay, yeah, but
animated
that
movies.
I mean, like the people making this did not respect animation because
No,
they don't
that's
respect
very
film.
true.
So, I mean, in the sense of like he's very much a character, like a cartoon character, where the world has no internal like consistency or anything. Like there is nothing that matters. He can both be giga genius inventor who has spent billions on making things, and also like wash out, layabout, wastrel
The
surf
stupidest
guy
person you ever met.
and an
Yeah.
idiot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like the movie is not aiming for this character to have a character. He's a dumbass with access to like it's kids next door, but like not fun if you're a
Which
child,
is
right? Like it's
part of the joke that I actually found funny. So, long story short, Carrot Top makes friends with a very rich guy who runs a company that invents things. The guy dies, puts Carrot Top in his will. Carrot Top goes into the company, and a whole bunch of shenanigans occur.
yeah,
When he's first joining with the company, and you've got the nephew character, who's kind of the antagonist of the movie, who's trying to take control over Carrot Top. Nephew is giving Carrot Top the tour of the building, and he shows him like a bunch of cabinets with all the inventions on it. And he knocks on one and he says, you know, my uncle invented this. And Carrot Top goes, wow, he invented glass? And like, if it hadn't been half an hour of just fucking noise to not even give me a moment to like think, is anything funny? I might have found that funny. But it is, I think last time we called Modern Times a key jangling movie for the Charlie Chaplin generation. This is, you've got like a keyring that is filled with noisemakers. It's
Edison has
just so
invented a
much.
spinning machine for your keys.
It's called this movie.
Yeah. So okay, this leads into something. Right? The key jingling is a good segue into something that I on what would I say? The landlady's maybe third line in the film made me
Hmm.
begin playing a game. This game was Is this a kids movie?
Okay,
Because yeah, every time,
such a mysterious question.
yeah,
Because why
it
the
really
fuck would you make a
is.
Jimmy Buffett joke if this is a kids movie?
Okay, so the line that started this game was that she's showing that basically she's going to evict Edison and his two dickhead mates. Edison's also a dickhead, but he has a name rather than just an adjective. Um, so she's leading them around the house, the two prospective buyers, and she goes into Edison's bathroom. He's showering. Ha ha! Funny. She flushes the toilet and he shrieks. A joke that doesn't land outside of America, where people have normal plumbing systems. So she takes them into the kitchen. Sorry to the American listeners there. Shows them it, and it's a bit of a mess. And she goes, "Yeah, it was better when it was a crack den," and that hit me like a truck because I'm like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't say it was better when it was a crack den if the target audience is 10 years old. Everything up until that point, and then a good like 85% of the movie feels like the audience is expected to be 10 years old.
Yes.
But then there's like sex jokes and stuff like that.
There's sex jokes, there's a joke about Jimmy Buffett, and again, the plot is dealing with stocks and land and inheritance. And it's like, okay, if it is for kids, what kid cares about any of this stuff? And it isn't for kids, why are you treating your audience like they can't breathe? Level of
Yeah,
stupid.
a kid who would get the jokes in this movie would be too smart to enjoy this movie.
Yes, yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's like it's really weird. Like there's a joke. It's an extended little bit where Edison is looking for a job, and one of the jobs he gets is in a condom factory, and he's behind a desk as the boss walks in because Edison can't hold any of these jobs. And the boss goes, "Edison, where are you?" And he pokes his head up from behind the desk and says, "Just testing the product, sir." And then a woman gets up from behind the desk and goes, "Oh, hi, daddy." So like, okay, condom factory. He's screwing the boss's daughter. I get it. That's why he's going to get fired from this one. What? Who is that? Like, who is that joke aimed at? Because that's like a minute long. The setup is that it's a condom factory. Already, it's 1997. You're not taking your 8-year-old to a scene, like a movie with a scene in it, where the setup is a condom factory.
I think the more interesting discussion to have about Chairman of the Board is to talk about Freddy Got Fingered. Do you know about this movie?
That's genuinely like I love that movie.
Okay,
I
so
hate like that I like it as much as I do.
but this is the thing, right? I know it tangentially. I've seen clips. I kind of read up about it because
Yeah.
Red Letter Media did a video talking about it, and their whole pitch, which Tom Green has gone on to confirm, is that it was a reaction to movies of the time, these like gag
Yeah.
comedies that are about nothing. And I feel like this is the exact movie that made Tom Green go like, I need to make Freddy Got Fingered. Because everything that you look at in that movie, this movie tries to do, but gets it wrong in a way where it's not funny, where you have the idiot schlub main character who falls in love with the girl and everything turns out right and he like lives the wonderful life. And you have
Yeah.
the just jokes that don't land but somehow found their way into a comedy, and you have the gross out stuff which isn't actually gross because it never goes far enough to be gross, whereas Freddy Got Fingered, the guy's jerking off an elephant, and the romantic conclusion to the subplot is that his girlfriend in the wheelchair says, I just want to suck your cock. Like, you can look at them as companion pieces, and one of them
Oh.
this is just sad. It's just a sad, sad movie.
I think that's a good explanation of this kind of humor, right? Because it is treading this line of trying to be shonen sinners before 9 p.m., I think, where also, like, yeah, like with Freddy Got Fingered, it is willing to make these jokes and to go all the way with the jokes. The bit when they have the half pipe in the garden, the guy like breaks his leg and they're just screaming for like 5 minutes and he's like saying he can see the bone and stuff. Because of the way that's set up, I haven't seen this movie since I was like 15, but I was like crying at that. Like it's so funny. The backwards man is still a common verbal tick for me. I think I said, "Daddy, would you like some sausages?" at least 1,000 times a month in sixth form, because again, my brain is wired wrong. Like Freddy Got Fingered is legitimately funny because it's willing to, because it knows it isn't. Like,
Yeah, Chairman of the Board, like, I don't know who is to blame for it. Okay, how do we even start approaching talking about Carrot Top? Because Okay.
Start at the head and work down, I guess.
Well, take off the stem.
Yeah. He has got a real name. He
I'm
was
not gonna look that up.
so he is credited as Carrot Top, which is really fucking embarrassing, to be
I
honest.
think this was like, it was like the era of Prince, right? You just
Okay,
categorize
but
yourself
Prince,
as your
I'm
stage
not
name.
gonna like ride with the Prince Carrot Top, the comedian formerly known as like you know. Prince has got some fucking bangers. I don't know if Carrot Top ever made anything worth experiencing.
I don't think so. So I want to like bring you on one of my little comparison journeys here because I think
Yeah,
it's always good to again say I'm trying not to be hyperbolic when I talk about these movies because it's so easy to say this is the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life and it's not.
yeah,
But I did get an emotional reaction from this movie that I think is worth talking about.
right.
So, and trust me with this, I'm going somewhere. Okay,
I'll buy it.
about 5 or 6 years ago, out of the blue randomly, I got some news. A family member of mine was in a medical emergency. Shit
Okay.
happened. And like,
This is not the funny part, right?
no, no, no.
Okay.
2 or 3 days later, got the news they died. It was sad. I was close to them. I think I got it at like 4 in the morning. It was a text message because I don't think the person wanted me to wake up, but I just happened to be up anyway.
Reasonable not to like. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, you get the news, you kind of realize it, but it's not real, so you start to process. And what I'm doing in that immediate grieving process is I'm like, I get busy, right? So I went downstairs and I just cleaned the kitchen for like 4 hours until someone else got up, and then I start to let things happen. That is just silent, doing anything just to keep the thoughts away.
Hmm.
So about 50 minutes into chairman of the board, when the tennis bimbo was talking to Carrot Top, I kind of just paused the movie. I had a big sigh, and I got up and I just started doing the washing and feeding the cats, and like no music, no nothing on. I didn't talk to anyone that I passed in the house, didn't do anything. Some element of this movie gave me a genuine like grieving process.
Right.
And I think it is like when you look at how involved Carrot Top is, it's just so fucking sad because either he thinks this is good and he's wrong every 20 seconds, or he's been hung out to dry in the most
Hmm.
embarrassing way possible. And it's
Yeah.
just a
So
miserable fucking thing to watch in either way.
I think this thing I get to with a lot of like art that I look at, right? But you know when something is like worthless, I guess is like a harsh way to describe it, but like worthless is the only way I can. Like some art is fucking empty. Like just
Yeah,
there's
art
nothing
is
about it.
a neutral qualifier. Like, art doesn't
Yeah,
mean something's good.
but I mean like it's harsh to say, oh, this is worthless, right? Because someone still made it, but
Yeah.
someone had to go from this doesn't exist, move all the way through this is beginning to exist, up until okay, this exists, right? So like this movie did not present like ex nihilo one day in
Yeah, yeah.
like
They
film
just
form, right?
manifest
Yeah, yeah.
randomly.
Like it's although maybe I'll throw that in my Delta Green
What
games.
horrifying what
So
imagine like you just like you're browsing YouTube, you just click on something and suddenly randomly. Speaking of actually, I
uh,
found this out when I was trying to find a copy of this movie. Did you know most movies on YouTube that are copyrighted, you can't find them because the rights owners are aware they'll be losing money having them
yeah,
on
I watched
YouTube.
this on
Did you
YouTube.
also know you can just search up Chairman of the Board full movie? You will
Yeah,
find it as your
that's
first result.
how I watched it. So
It's not
anyway,
even copyright free. It's still like
yeah.
it's barely 30 years old.
But yeah, so like to this point though, right? So you have this movie that at all stages, the people making it know what they're making, right? They're recording it, they're writing it, they are seeing it, and yet they still like let it happen. And it's really interesting to me when something like so holistically bad like that. Like, did it do well at box office? Did it have a high
No.
budget? Was there a lot of sunk
Budget of
cost?
about 7 million, a box
Right,
office of 700,000.
Jesus. But
So
yeah,
default from what I've seen is like you kind of roughly double the budget for marketing, maybe more if it's a big movie. So this movie lost about $13.5 million, which is quite a lot,
yeah,
to put it
and like,
simply.
and Carrot Top was like, was he like the creative lead basically?
I don't know. I did a brief scan before my mind shut off because this isn't knowledge that anyone should retain.
Yeah.
I saw the director, Alex Zam. He's a very weird career because for most of his career he is a working director for
Okay.
low value IP sequels. So like
Right.
2003 he did Inspector Gadget 2, 2014 he did Jingle All the Way 2, 2017 he did Woody Woodpecker.
So I'm assuming anyone listening to this has seen Dan Olson, Folding Ideas videos, the Jarhead sequels video, and he mentions
Mm,
like there's an entire wing in like Universal, and I assume true of like any of the big publishers, where it really is just like there's a vault, there's a bunch of IPs we own, fucking farm these out to people to just make a direct to DVD
yeah.
like slop, right? Like,
Like, we
oh,
don't
we
think
own
Inspector Gadget
this.
would make enough money for a full cinematic release, but it might eke out just enough to justify making a sequel that lets us hold on to the rights. So if the Inspector Gadget boom happens, hey, we're in the
Yeah.
money.
So yeah, there's a lot of directors like that where like a lot of like creatives who are just trapped in their minds, right? They're just told like make this. Who cares? There's nothing creative about it. Like because again, a director is a job, and like people assume that it's this like really fulfilling, like oh I get to make what I want to make and stuff. Sometimes director is the same kind of job as working in like finance. Like
Yeah,
sometimes it's just a job where people tell you to do stuff.
you just show up and you do it and you leave and you cry.
Yeah, I would say like more directors are that than Spielberg's, right? You gotta find a way to make people just let you make what you want to make.
What a shame to be that kind of director stuck with this kind of material, where you're not even engaging with something worth engaging with at any point of the process. I
Yeah,
I've written down a 5 seconds of stop motion at the end of the movie was like almost charming in a way where you can look at someone clearly had to work because any kind of animation takes work and it's not
dude,
horrendous
the
looking.
animated shots in it, I was like surprised by how fine they were.
This is the issue. I'm surprised at how fine they were. They
Yeah,
weren't good enough to be like really shocking, and they weren't atrocious enough to be interesting. They were fine.
but that did shock me because it just seems I don't know not fully phoned in as I'd expected.
No, because you have to hire someone who has knowledge. The issue with the stop motion
Yeah, I
stuff would
suppose
have been
true.
they didn't give them enough time or money. Not that there wasn't effort, because if you tell anyone who is into stop motion, I will pay you to make stop motion for me, they'll be fucking psychotic about it, because that's the kind of people who make stop motion.
Yeah, no one
But
normal
you
is
give
gonna be
them
into that.
2 weeks and, $500, you're gonna get what Chairman of the Board got.
Yes, I'm looking like the screenwriters seem to be two people who are career screenwriters. They mostly do TV.
Okay.
They've both got credits on things like Smallville and Stargirl and shit from like more recent, right? So they're just probably hired to write this movie. Like I think this movie, I might be wrong. Like maybe it didn't manifest ex nihilo, but it did like manifest like ex capital. Like
Mm.
someone just decided they needed some money. Put a team together, make a movie. Carrot Top is popular. Fucking make a Carrot Top vehicle and sell it.
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe. I mean, so when I looked up, the Don McDonald made the joke of what's a movie with Carrot Top in it called? How about Box Office Poison? And then he went on to say, I bet it's called, or like one of his spelled chairman of the BORED. This was
Good joke.
in an interview with Conan O'Brien and the co-star of the movie, by the way. So just the rudest fucking thing you could ever possibly do. But
Hmm.
I saw Carrot Top responded, basically saying like I wasn't interested in doing the media tour for the movie, and that was a really funny moment while it was happening. So I don't think Carrot Top really loved this thing.
Yeah.
I have to imagine this is the kind of situation where he gets pushed to be the lead in a zany comedy because he's relatively popular, and then gets none of his own creative input. I can't imagine what his comedy is actually like without doing a deep dive of it, but he doesn't ever seem comfortable. Like, to be a popular comedian in any regard, you need some amount of charisma, and not even in like the people like you way. You can be the kind of, shocking central Ricky Gervais, right? No one likes that fucking prick, but there is something about him where you just go like, I don't want to watch this guy, but I can't stop looking away from it. There is none of that in Carrot Top. It is a black hole.
So apparently, at the time, Carrot Top was very popular. This is also like the only movie he was in, and it was
Really?
exclusively made to be like a Carrot Top thing. This existed because they thought if they put Carrot Top in a movie at the height of his power, they would have pulled it off. And instead, they got like post lobotomy Matt Lillard, which is all I could think when I was watching this movie. I was like, this could almost be funny if Matt Lillard was like playing that character.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like I really got that vibe. Because also, like, I think he, by being that like skater surfer type guy, like he would sell the character a lot better because he just was that kind of guy.
Yeah, he had
Like
more
I
the look
think,
of it.
yeah, like, but he also knew the stuff. Like Matt Lillard, his initial career was like on TV for skaters and shit. So like, I think like that's the kind of guy you get. Like he's a goofy guy. He's a weirdo. I still can't really watch the scenes he's in Hackers without getting physically uncomfortable. But like, I think he would have made this character work. The concept is still shot, but like
Could
you get the right
anyone make this
actors.
character work genuine? Because like, let's say you're not changing the script at all. It's
Oh,
just
it's just the
the
same thing. Just
performance.
but,
Yeah, I guess any improv that he's done, like maybe there was some improv. I imagine it
yeah,
had to be in the kind of American comedy scene. There seems like there is usually a lot. Who could actually make this thing work? Because you play it too serious, like you do a Leslie Nielsen in Airplane, and a lot of the wacky slapstick surrounding you is not going to
yeah.
play.
You need a comedian who knows they're in a comedy, right? I mean, obviously the Leslie Nielsen trick is that his whole thing there was we can't acknowledge that this is a comedy,
Yeah,
so that doesn't work for this. I like Lillard, maybe. I'm trying to think of other comic actors. I mean, Lillard's not a comic actor, but like actors
he's
who
got a
are
lot of
either
comedic chops.
yeah, actors who are first comedians.
Maybe like a Brendan Fraser could maybe because he's
Maybe
got enough like slapstick capability that he could
I
really
can't
do
imagine
a
him
lot of
young
like
enough
the
for the role
yeah you do
in
like a
my head.
pre-mummy, right?
Yeah, but he always just seems like he's like an older guy. I don't know why.
Yeah, broad shoulders,
Yeah, it's the
square
same thing
jaw.
with like I couldn't see like Eddie Murphy doing this, even though like
Ah, Nutty
yeah.
Professor is a step away from this. It's very adjacent.
I suppose the issue there is it still wouldn't be good. Um,
No,
it doesn't improve
like I
it.
said, a step away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know because I, th- I mean, really, the way you make this movie good is you get a better actor, you get a better supporting cast, and you slow it down,
Yeah,
and
you try to
that just
deliver a
works.
joke every 45 seconds, or like a gag or thing to laugh at every 45 seconds instead of every 12. Because it
Also,
is trying so hard.
actually set the jokes up as well. And
Yes,
yeah, let them rest a little bit. The only joke in this that's set up is set up with about a 45-minute time difference. Do you know which
and
one
that
I'm talking about?
is.
No? Okay.
Uh, I feel like I do, but I can't place it in my
So,
head.
Carrot Top meets the chairman of the board, and he's fixing his car, and he lets the chairman sit in Carrot Top's car. The chairman's like, wow, nice car, you really gave it the works. He's like, yeah, you should see the alarm. It's a real kick in the whatever. And the guy laughs. Right at the end of this is like 15 minutes into the movie.
Hmm.
Right at the end of the movie, the main villain is trying to flee because he's going to get arrested. And he gets in Carrot Top's car to escape because his car's been destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And he throws the lock off of it. And the car's like, shouldn't have done that, bucko. And they still cut back to inside as everyone says he's getting away, and Carrot Top goes like, I wouldn't say so. And then they cut back to the guy and he gets kicked in the nuts by the car alarm that he set
Right.
up. Now, again, it's not quite Suicide Squad, her heart's out. Like, even though the movie has been telling you this the entire time, like you don't need them to reassert that fact for you. It did piss me off that the only joke that they thought they could set up, they still felt like they needed to call back just before they landed the punchline, just to remind you that they'd set it up.
But I feel like there's so much other noise that if they hadn't done the resetting up of it, it it would just be a random thing that happened, you know?
Yeah, maybe actually. That could be a good point. I did
Because
see it coming, but even then, maybe because I was so tuned out for the noise that I think,
yeah,
yeah,
you've come off of just watching it. I watched it a week ago, so I really am working on scraps here.
The thing is, it's like such a worthless movie. Like there's nothing interesting going on cinematically. It is just a bunch of shits where the camera is swinging around all the time to the point like, dude, I've never felt motion sick watching a movie. Some of the scenes, the way they move the cameras.
Here's a thing to talk about rather than just bad camera movement because it's atrocious. What else is there to say? It's a movie called Chairman of the Board. It's set near the coast. The idea is he's a surfer. There is maybe a minute and a half of like surfing related stuff.
Yeah.
Why did you not lean all in on that being the gag? A surfer takes over a company. Why is he an inventor? Why is he a flirty romantic? Why is he in a heavy metal thrash band sometimes? Like, find one thing and write jokes about that thing. I'm sure that, like,
Well,
surfer comedies can exist.
the character, the aim is that he's every kind of loser. Which, and also, okay, this one really threw me off, right? I guess this is because it's wish fulfillment for this kind of guy. Why is he successful with women?
Yes. So, like, the condom joke is the first real sign that this is going to be a real slot movie because the joke you would. I don't know what joke you would have in the condom factory in a better movie, but he would not get with the girl in the condom factory or at the end of the movie. Again, in this Freddy Got Fingered way, where, like, he has the romantic lead, he's bringing on dates, there's flirty, there's twee music, it's all very, oh, look at that, it's real romance, and then she gets to run the company, and he gets to be hired by her, and it's a fair partnership. And then you look at a real madcap zany comedy, Freddy Got Fingered, disabled girl doesn't want $1 million in jewels, she just wants to suck his cock. Like, that's fucking funny, man.
Yeah.
this is, like, it's just, like, because I'm sure, being a rich and famous comedian at this point in his career, I'm sure Carrot Top was getting pussy. I can't imagine what it would have been like to get dick from this guy because it would have been fucking frightening. But did he need to kiss the leading lady? Is that all that the motivation was? Because they do kiss.
Yeah. I mean,
Like why would you put her through that?
to again use the Freddy Got Fingered analogy, comparison, it's really funny that the female, like the love interest in that, has way more agency than in this. Like, obviously, in this, the women are props, right? Like that's kind of a vibe that's going on. They just kind of exist. I don't think, like the landlady is an obstacle. The woman
Yeah, you got the
who works
landlady,
with
the
him,
romance lead, and the antagonist who's trying to take the company
yeah,
because of stocks.
she's got some agency. Like she is still triggering the problem. And I will say, to be fair to them, they make her a character because at the end she sells the guy she was working out with because you understand
Yeah,
she
she
has
does betray him.
motivations. Whereas, like, the woman who he's working with, she exists to be attracted to him and for
Yeah.
him to be attracted to her. Like, there's no reason that this character is. I mean, there's not very many reasons for any of the male characters to exist, but it's like, that kind of thing pisses me off because, like, she's just there so that the main character's got someone to, like, successfully have sex with.
Do you think it is, again, as Red Letter Media says, a case of the not gays? Where you've got a
Oh,
male
just to
character
say
who
that he's
hangs
not
around
gay.
with his two boys all the time and he's just really close friend male relationships, so we need to put in the romance. Because, like with Bill and Ted, those characters are asexual aside from the times when they are kissing the girls. Because
I
otherwise they would
see.
seem a bit gay. Is Carrot Top afraid of seeming a bit gay with his boys?
Okay, having seen Carrot Top, I'm going to assume that yes, Carrot Top is afraid of seeming a little bit gay.
Yeah.
Maybe that was like
He's
a
a
ride.
weird looking guy. He's a weird, like.
He has turned himself into something of a homunculus.
But even in this movie, like when he wears the skirt going to the tennis thing, he's yoked. He's got some real fucking tight hamstrings and stuff. Like, guy was clearly working out in this kind of spindly, like, rake sort of way.
He has got like a Highland Slenderman look to him.
Yeah, right?
Like it's a very strange vibe.
It's hard to pin what aesthetic he was going for.
So here's the thing, right? Obviously they were trying to ride off the Carrot Top popularity, and I have avoided learning really who Carrot Top is. Was this what his comedy style was like?
Oh, who knows? I didn't want to risk running into more of this stuff. I'm gonna assume vaguely yes.
Apparently, Carrot Top, having me just Googled him, has got 3 upcoming shows this week in Vegas, and the most expensive tickets are £48.
Oh, that's not good
You
for a
can't be
comedian.
doing you can't be doing 5 shows a week in Vegas and be doing all right for yourself.
No.
Because he was just a stand-up, right?
Yes, but you gotta, like, we're looking at English stand-up. You think of,
Yeah.
I don't know, Eddie as a more contemporary, like Russell Howard.
Yeah, I suppose the Americans, they tell jokes. Yeah.
Or they also, like, you look at, like, Joe Rogan calls himself a stand-up, right? And half his show is like him climbing on a bar stool and humping it. Like, that's... Yeah.
Hmm.
There's George Carlin, and then there's American stand-up.
Yeah, okay, no, I understand. Fun fact, but Carrot Top was in a show playing himself, and the show was called Hacks. Now, I don't know that
Okay.
it's the joke I want to make about that, but, like...
And I do think it is about that, from what I'm aware of that show. Like, I
Okay.
think it's a bit of like an extras situation. Again, Ricky Gervais, where they bring in famous people to play exaggerated versions of themselves. So I would not be surprised if he plays into the character persona in that movie.
Right. Oh, so he's a resident comedian at the Luxor Hotel in Vegas, and has been for 20 years.
Okay, no. You can be resident for like 5, but then you gotta get back to your career. 20 is like, oh no, I guess like
I mean, yeah,
he's
people
given
like the
up. He's
show.
given up making new stuff, but he's making money. He's people like the show, like you said, right? He's presumably selling out with tickets to those prices. Maybe it's fine.
All right, I'm going to read this little Wikipedia synopsis of his show for you.
Sure.
His comedy routine typically incorporates dozens of props stored in large trunks on stage. His prop jokes commonly consist simply of pulling out the prop, describing it, and tossing it away. He typically closes his show with a lip-synced musical montage.
Okay, well,
This movie is accurate to his comedy style.
I was gonna say, let's treat this movie like he treats his props. We will plug it out, talk about it for half an hour, and throw it away. Chairman on the board, a waste of your fucking time. I'm glad Carrot Top is making money, I think.
I'm
Probably.
not. I think it would be... He's 61 years old and he's still doing that show.
So he would have been early 30s making this?
He would have started at about 40. For
No,
that
no,
comedy
the
show. Oh, Chairman of
Chairman
the
on the
Board?
board, early 30s making
61
this.
right now, knock off 30 years. Yeah, 32,
Yeah.
33. He's the same age as us.
I was gonna say, can you imagine putting yourself in this situation where you go to work, some guy tells you, act like a stupid 6-year-old. Not a 6-year-old, an actively stupid 6-year-old. Do that for 16 hours and come back tomorrow. Could you get away with not killing yourself?
I would definitely be like, I would rather be in Super Babies.
Yeah. oh, my heart.
Like,
What a vicious fucking blow.
Well, like, at least I could play an adult, and the dickhead characters are all played by literal babies, and are still somehow more mature than this. Like, again, right, before we throw it away, there is this thing in the 90s, and I think it's why people who were 20 in the 90s and are, like, 40 and 50 now are bad people. I'm just going to say that blanket statement. It's just true now. There's plenty of good ones, but, like, if you're 10 years older than me, I don't like you, right? Not true, but it's funnier for the joke. So,
generally true.
There was this admiration in the late 90s, early 2000s for just being a piece of shit. Yeah. And not like being a piece of shit in the 80s, like evil executive, like doing 15 lines of coke and tanking your company, or like, an actual villain, but just being like a guy whose entire aspirations is to be Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
But also not charming enough, because like Shaggy is kind of funny and endearing and like cute in a way.
Yeah.
The Carrot Top type of persona is just like it's all of the worst like sleazebag do nothing person, and also like hateful and potentially like aggressive or just like comically violent. It's the dirtbag era, it's the attitude era. It was the 90s.
Yeah, I guess it was. It's really weird. Like, for all the things for a culture to romanticize, it's the idea of being chronically unemployable. Not unemployed, unemployable.
Yeah. Like, that's the vibe.
Yeah. Like, these are not, like, wayward, like, traveling people who are, hitting the tracks, right? You're not guitar in a train car because, like, you've washed out of the system. That is romantic. Like, it sucks when it happens, but it is romantic. But, like, being a 30-year-old who can't function, like, how did we romanticize that? Like, how is that the kind of thing that we were like, yeah, love that guy?
I don't want to put the blame on Jackass, but I
Well, no,
might.
because Jackass is like they're actually pretty cool. They have like a really good vibe with like the homosexual stuff.
Yeah, but also, like, what you mainly see is a guy drinking horse cum and making millions of dollars from it. And it's like, yeah.
I guess, yeah, I guess in my head because like I kind of grew up around like the skating crowd, so like to me the Jackass people were always like a lot of them were involved in like the skate scene. Like if I saw Bam Margera, yeah, I saw like professional skater first, and then
You
Jackass
think
guy
about
second.
how like frequently people our age in school were using like gay slurs, right? And you look at the average
Yeah,
audience for something like Jackass, the moment there is the hint of like not funny gay stuff, homosexuality, or like general acceptance, that shit is getting fast forwarded or looked
yeah,
away from.
maybe. I don't know. If you have nostalgia for the '90s, I think like you might have been kicked in the head by a horse.
Looking back as someone who would have grown up in the late 90s, one of my least favorite eras.
Yeah.
Uh, I frequently have said that is like a cultural black hole. I like doing this show because I'm going to see more examples of it not being that, as we will go on to talk about, no doubt. But man, a lot of the stuff was like no good. Just a real fucking, real dog of a time.
It does make me appreciate the slop from the '50s more.
Uh,
Like,
I don't think I appreciate those at all.
no, no. So when I say more, right, what I'm saying here is like they were making that with like no budget. At least that's like a bit of a justification for why it came out as shit as it did. Movies like this, they had $7 million. They had like a crew, they had props, they had like good cameras, and they still managed to make the same kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, like those movies are like they suck, but they're not like worse than what people are doing now. It's like you can do more damage with a gun than a knife kind of situation. Like I at least appreciate the stab wound after I get shot, you know? Like it's like I don't want the wound, but I'm like, man, I guess thank God they only had a knife. This is what happens when you give them real cameras. Anyway, good
Yeah,
movie time.
yeah. I'm trying to think about anything else, but yeah, I can't. I can't think.
Well, it can come back up later.
So, Eternity in a Day, best rated movie of 1998 by Theo Angelopoulos, as rated on Letterboxd. Um, I know you were less of a movie guy before we got into this thing than I was.
I was.
So, well, what is your experience with like art house film in general? Because I think the only other like art house thing that we've seen this is probably Audette. Is the closest thing that you could call like an art house movie.
Yeah, not like very familiar at all. I mean, like the frame, like the Frez. I know art house. I know the like negative meme of art house. You know, the
Yeah.
very heady kind of up its own ass kind of vibe. I was not the kind of person that agreed with that. You will know. I am maybe one of the most pretentious people you know.
But you also
So
didn't engage with them a lot. Like you admired them from a
yeah.
distance.
Kind of
Yeah.
more of a like I wasn't into film, so I didn't get into art house stuff. Than I would watch movies, but I would never watch an art house thing. Like if I
Yeah.
getting into film, I am the target audience for the guy who would get into art house. Right? I'm a big fan of like Rothko when it comes to painting, shit like
Mm.
that. So the stuff
Yeah.
people go, I don't like this. What is it? I'm gonna be the guy who's like, oh,
Here's
I'm
what it is. Yeah, yeah,
intrigued.
yeah.
Yeah,
So like I've not watched it a huge amount as much as I would like to, but I think I've watched a bit more art house stuff than you would have. And what I've broadly found is that I put them into two categories that are either feel or theme. And a
right.
feel movie is like a David Lynch or contemporary, we're looking at a Robert Eggers or Ari Aster, where you
Yeah,
don't need to know a lot to kind of get it, right? Like Eraserhead, all you need to know is that being a parent is scary. And The Lighthouse, all you need to know is like isolation will drive you crazy, right?
yeah. Like, it's a good example because like the Lighthouse is the movie that when a person asks me, who is a person who doesn't engage with art properly, if they ask me what my favorite movie is, I say The Lighthouse, because I
Yeah.
think that best explains to that person what kind of shit I'm into.
Yeah, it's like gonna be too weird for a lot of people, but it's very approachable and like in an art house way, it's all about getting emotion across.
Yeah,
And then you have theme movies, which you're looking at like Tarkovsky with like Stalker or Solaris, or more contemporary like a Charlie Kaufman, right, who's right-hand director. Think of Ending Things, Anomalisa, movies where to give an example for Solaris, it's a movie about an abandoned space station where 2.5 hours in, they start talking about the myth of Sisyphus, right? They
yeah,
expect you to have done your reading beforehand, just not even, you're expected to just know things about a lot of different topics because we're going to be discussing a lot of them. I think Eternity in a Day is the rare movie that is really comfortable in the middle, where
yeah.
it expects you to know about the politics between Greece and Albania in the late 1990s, and it expects you to know who Dimitrios Solomos is, and it expects you to know a lot of stuff about like the situation with orphans in Greece and Greek culture. But also, it can show you just a child trafficking ring and go like, isn't this fucking scary? It can show you
Yeah.
what is maybe literally the gates of hell and go like, hey, do you feel bad? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I feel really, really bad.
Yeah, okay. I like that. I like the description because it really did have that. There was a lot of time where like this movie is just being something. A lot of time where the movie was being very explicit. I think, like with what's going on in a way that wasn't. Oh, maybe explicit's the wrong word. Because the child trafficking scene, actually, to use that,
Yeah,
I love how little dialogue, how little like
it's
stuff
just
is happening.
crunching glass and
Yeah,
dirt as people slowly walk, and our main character realizes like what he's stumbled into. It is fucking horrifying the way
yeah,
it's depicted.
like the window break in that, where the one of the kids picks up a pipe off of the ground because they're just in like an abandoned warehouse. Just picks up a pipe, throws it through a window, and a bunch of the kids escape. And while they're escaping, our main character beckons the kid he was there to rescue. I can't express the short part of this scene where he's paying for the kid.
Yeah.
How well done.
It's
Because again,
so
no dialogue. Like it's
so
just
tense and unnerving, and
yeah,
you
like
just
they
feel
all come
sick.
in. You feel like you're as trapped as he is. It's really close. The camera kind of moves in. Like you can hear how empty this place has gotten, and he just slowly takes his wallet out, takes all the cash out of it, puts it on the side, turns his wallet to the guys, and opens it to show, I don't have any more money. Starts walking towards them. One of the guys just takes a small step back, and he and the kid leave. And you're like, oh, I can breathe again. Like,
Yeah,
it's really
really, really
affecting.
effective.
Yeah.
Which I guess so to start with maybe a what must feel like a tangent considering what we've just talked about. The movie is about a poet kind of accepting that he's about to die. He may be literally in his last day of
It
life. He may
feels
be
like he's.
literally in the afterlife. He may be just going to the doctors. It's a bit ambiguous in a way that
It
I like.
feel like the reading I got for it was that he kills himself tomorrow.
Yes,
Like that was my
but
overall
I
thought. Because
also I think this might also be a purgatory, where like
yeah, there's that
him and the
vibe
kid
to
have
it.
both died and they are seeing each other
Well,
off
okay,
just before
so
they enter the
an
afterlife.
absolutely stellar part of this. So across the movie, there are these flashbacks, which may not be flashbacks depending on your read of the film. Which I'm glad it's the kind of movie where I can say that. So,
Yeah.
and like, I love right the flashbacks that are his personal history rather than events that have happened in the past. Which, yeah, this is definitely a movie where if you think things are pretentious, sometimes you should like shut the fuck up, sit down, and just watch it and understand that pretense is good. In all the flashbacks that are personal history, he is not aged down.
Yeah.
He is there. Everyone else is the age they would have been. He is not edged down, which
He's
gives you
also
this
wearing the
weird.
exact same clothes that he's currently
Yeah,
wearing.
like he just
He's like
steps into the scenes, like
he's
they
as wet
are.
as he would have been if he was in the rain. Like it's such a really cool like
Yeah, it's a good way of doing it
yeah.
because it shows you either it is him remembering, and obviously if you're remembering, like you're just you, or it's happening. But either way, right? So this is happening. Wonderful. Such a good way to do this. There are some times where he's thinking back because his final work, the thing he wanted to finish, and the thing maybe he does finish, who knows, is the continuation of a poet's work. This previous poet, I forget which poet it was specifically.
It was Demetrios Solomos.
Demetrios. Yeah. Right towards the end of the film, Alexandra, um,
Alexandros.
Alexandros.
It's
He
Alexander the
is
Greek, is the
Yes,
way you should
Alexander the
remember
Greek,
it.
which is weird because Alexander's yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he's on the bus. Well, I guess it's Mycenae or Mycenaean. So as he is on the bus with the child, a bunch of different people are getting on the bus, and it feels like a very quick little retelling of the story. This like bus journey. Um, you have the fighting
Oh,
couple. Or did you not
I
get that?
didn't even.
You fucking idiot.
Well, no, I appreciated each individual encounter, but it felt more to just like it was just them like unifying in this observing of the world, and obviously there are similarities, but I didn't clock that it was like just an exact that. Yeah, yeah. Now that
So,
I pieced together each encounter that we look at, I'm like, yeah, no, of course it fucking is.
really good. So like I'm shocked it's rated so highly. So as they're doing that, the poet gets onto the bus and Alexandros speaks to him. And you're kind of thinking like what is going on? Like, is he hallucinating? Is it real? What is it? And I think like that one when you said like, oh, maybe it's purgatory, maybe it's literally like hell. That scene is such a like, hey, have you been reading this shit literally, you idiot? Like it's so good. I love like when the movie almost just acknowledges like this is art, dude. Like,
Yeah,
did you think that these events happened in this order? Because like you fucking dumbass. Like,
it is a weird one, right? Because you have stuff like that, and I want to talk about the scene at the Albanian border, but also a lot of it does feel like the child trafficking thing feels so grounded, and you have they call them the red light kids, the red light boys. It's
yeah.
orphans who will wait for cars to stop and wash the windows and ask for money.
Also called squeegee kids.
Yeah, squeegee kids. The scene where one of them just like randomly shows up dead. It's like these things feel very real and grounded, so that when it does these little arty transportations, it can be a bit staggering sometimes where you're not quite sure like what mood you're supposed to be in. And I will say like hour and a half, hour 45-ish, it did feel a bit ambient loose, like you were just kind of wandering around. I was starting to like lose the thread a little bit because stuff
It got a little
happening.
bit like tone poem. I think at times, like sometimes
Yeah,
it was just like, what is grief, or what is like melancholy, or what is like remembering.
but again, tone poem where I think it expects you to understand stuff about the culture and like the poet
Yeah,
Salomos, right? Like I think it wants you to know a lot of his life so you can transport it onto Alexandros. And when you don't, it's like I can still get a lot of this. I'm still enjoying it, but when you go in with that expectation of knowledge and you don't have it, it can get a bit fiddly. It starts to
yeah.
trail off occasionally.
It has made me very interested in learning about them because it just seems. I would love to rewatch this movie after reading about Albania and Greece at the time, after reading about this poet,
So
and getting more of a feel for that kind of background. Because I think, like you said, this movie expects to a point that you have this like concrete foundation so that it can be this kind of fluid thing
yeah,
riding between the things you already know about, which is cool. Like I do like that. Like it's a movie that it's not sitting down here to be an exploration of grief or like the like grief of oneself or like accepting death or anything without it thinking you've already thought about this at length. Like this is
mm.
not 101. This is like, hey, I'm making this for the sickos. Like I want to make
Yeah,
this
yeah.
movie for
This is
people
a
who
an
already
art
care about
movie
this.
for art people. Like it. This is not a good introductory. If you're trying to get someone into art house movies, I would
They will,
recommend an Eraserhead or a Lighthouse before I would recommend this.
yeah, this nails it, but like, yeah, it's a couple layers deeper. You have to be
Yeah.
in there for it. Which is interesting because again, as someone who hasn't watched tons of art house stuff, I mean, I really liked it, but again, I'm that kind of like
you've
heady
got other
dude.
art housey stuff that you like anyway, right? So you're going in with
Yeah.
the expectation of this can be an exploration of theme and feeling and thought rather than just like it's a movie. We've had one it's a movie already this week. We don't need another.
God, I couldn't think of two more disparate movies from the same year.
I mean,
I
Nobody Knows and Super Babies was
all right,
pretty
yeah, no, I take
close
it
as
back. I
well.
can, yeah. Um, when we talk about it, it's not clear in this movie when things transition from like fact to like representation, or if they even do it all, right? Like when it's he's walking through his house at the end of the movie, he steps outside into a memory, and
Yeah.
the movie does not acknowledge that a thing has changed, and you like if you picked up the movie at that point, like say you walked into the cinema at the end, you would not understand that he has stepped back in time to like dance with his dead wife. That's not going to be something that's clear to you. It is not presented as a flashback. It is not presented as being even different to like the current thing. That's like
Yeah.
stereotypical hyper reality.
But the film has used language up to that point to make it, I think, pretty clear. Like,
Oh, no, it's when I say like it blends, like it's not like super clear. I don't mean in the sense that if you're watching it, you don't know it's happened.
yeah, yeah.
In the sense that like the actual images on film
Yeah, there's no
aren't
sepia
making a
tone. There's
distinction.
there's no
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Like it's shot as if it's just happening,
I do
and
love
your
how it
audience expects
transitions
you
in
to
those
know.
moments, though. Like the first time when he goes to visit his daughter, and the one signifier I think I kind of spotted that we're entering more of a dream flashback pseudo space is just a slight pan of the camera, just
Yeah,
slight pan to the right, and then typically sometimes it's not even a cut, sometimes there is, but like when he's looking just in his daughter's shades, slight pan of the right, and then we cut to the outside. And then
yeah,
later on, when he's talking about the poet with the little Albanian boy who he's rescuing, we just pan all the way to the right and we see horse and carriage. And it's like, okay, we are not in the same
yeah.
metaphysical space anymore.
I think those ones actually they make the like ending one a lot more affecting to me
Mm,
because it feels like they're all a little bit closed off, and the ending one isn't like a pan away; it's him stepping out into it,
yeah,
which feels like
yeah,
oh
because he goes to the old decrepit house that's been sold and is about to be
yeah.
bulldozed.
Yeah, it's really good. I love the way this movie like messes with time. Like the chronology of this is crazy. It's so like fun to think about, and like okay, really funny one with this. I think like the times of the movie, if you're not like really engaged with it, can kind of slip and drag a little bit.
Mm.
Feels really good. I liked having to kind of pull myself back in. It almost made me enter a kind of like daydreamy state at times, where it
Yeah,
would like
yeah,
really
I can
slow
see
down
that.
and I was losing it, and like I felt like I was getting kind of lulled into that intentionally at times,
Like
and then I kind of pull
the
myself
wedding,
back.
the
Yeah,
wedding, I think is like a good example of that because it is you've got a big Greek wedding, a big procession going down the street. Our main character's just off to the side. The bride meets the groom. They kind of put their hands out. They dance the Greek dance, and it's like I want to say 6 minutes of just this slow pan down the street, all the way up to the back of this parting lot where the wedding's about to happen. They're all dancing. It's all just very quiet, no dialogue. And then we just see Alexandros walk in from off screen, and it kind of jolts you back from like that, like dreamy, irreverent, just just watching people dance, like have a good time, and you're suddenly hit with, the reality, if it is reality, of the situation again, where you see just this sad, lonely man trying to take care of his dog before he maybe kills himself. It's like, oh,
the I didn't realize initially that that wasn't a flashbacky type one
mm.
because as he walks into the like screen, the only thing that tells you it's not is the dog because
Yeah,
he
he's
doesn't
still got his
have
dog
the
with him.
dog. Yeah, but like because obviously they've been blending modern Alexandros walking in around the rain into these flashbacks. That with just him, I didn't really realize like, oh wait, this isn't like a wedding he'd been to. This is a wedding that's happening, and like the housekeeper is there, and he wants to like hand the dog off to the housekeeper. Like I don't know, it made the film feel really hazy for a brief moment, which I think a lot of those
Intentional,
flashbacks
definitely,
do.
right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's
yeah,
so much of this idea of it's based around this idea that Alexandros never finished anything proper, and same thing with Salomos, the poet who he admires, never finished anything proper,
Yeah.
and it puts him in this state of, ethereal loneliness in a world that is the same day, and everything's always the same, and you can flick between these thoughts and memories and feelings so easily, because it is all functionally like a an identical piece. When I don't know, it's like about you think it's about just like depression, artistic depression, being stuck in this weird haze? Because when he's with the kid, there's a lot less of those dreamy
Yeah.
moments unless he's explicitly talking about them. So like this new experience that is giving him purpose is the thing that keeps him in the present day. And it's only like when they get on the
That's
bus and the kid is kind of getting sleepy because it's a long day that we start to, like you said, right? You get the visitors coming in and we get more of this like dreamier look at his history again. It's when he's kind of more of his own thoughts.
it's I saw someone saying like one of the things that were taken from it was like a bit of a reading on how like isolation and like drudgery
Mm,
can just ruin your capability for like art.
yeah,
And it like gets you in the soul. And like the kid is obviously in the movie like the refugee kid, the ward, the reason for him to give a shit about the day, but also like represents non-isolation. Like it's something new. He's a person. It's like the world. Like it, especially with the kid having come from such a real event, right? It's something like very present. This isn't just like an orphan. This is a like refugee from a horrible series of events
yeah.
who is in danger. I don't know. I felt very interesting that it's like this is what gets you out of your final day rut. This is what gets you to, we don't know if he finishes the work. We don't know if he even dies tomorrow, but we know if you read the film thematically, tomorrow's his last day
Yeah.
of something. I got that vibe from it, right? It's this idea of like, if you're just stuck, you're just doing the same thing, and you're just thinking about the past, and you're not making these new ideas, it yeah, it becomes like impossible to finish anything. It becomes impossible to work on the art. Like, I
Mm.
like that we never see him make anything.
Yes, I was thinking about that, where the only thing they actually show him having made is that part of the translation of the poem that he reads with his daughter, but even that, we don't see a huge amount of it. And I
Yeah,
like that both on a basic level of like, don't show the geniuses of work because you probably aren't a genius who's making it, so it won't feel genius, but also on the thematic level of if he never finished it, it doesn't mean anything to him. Why would it mean anything to us as an audience? We don't need to see it. We just need to have the awareness of there is unfinished work, and that in itself is part of the tragedy that starts this whole series of events.
it's that thing. Like him being a poet is both like not really actually relevant to the events of the film, and also like the most relevant part of the film.
Yeah,
Like he doesn't do poetry. He doesn't sit down and like try to work and can't. But also like you need the character to be this poet for him to be walking around and for you to understand like the way he's thinking, what he's doing and why he's done it and like what he cares about. There's a lot of things. Now you mentioned like it kind of is able to thread the needle really well on this. Like it's either about theme or about like vibe almost. I feel like there's a lot of things where it does that, where it's like keeping these points relevant while not really actually caring about the concrete facts of them.
yeah.
Same with like the whatever's going on in Albania at the time. Like I don't really know what's
So I
happening in
did
Albania in
look
'97.
into it to kind of clarify because there's a very specific image, and we'll talk more about it after I say what happened. But when
Yeah,
they get to the border Albania, before the kid admits that he doesn't have family there, and we see the border guard, he has a flat military cap, broad shoulders, with like a cloak that goes to down about just below waist level.
yeah,
I don't know when, like in a human culture sense, this happened, but you see that silhouette and you're like, that's a man who hurts people. You're not safe near that guy. He's wearing the evil person
yeah. That's
dress,
the
and you
SS bit.
should. But because like it wasn't an SS thing that was happening
Yeah,
there in
yeah,
Albania at the time. It's 50 years removed from the Holocaust, but like just the look of him, I'm like, you're fucking awful. And we don't get to see whether he is or not, right? They run before you get to see anything, but
yeah.
just image of that silhouette, without any knowledge of what I looked up afterwards, is so like powerfully presented in a really simple, blunt way. Um,
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to know what's happening to know that if he leaves the kid with these people, it's bad.
yeah.
Like,
So
that's all
brief
you need to
glance
know.
at like what was happening, because turns out finding out about the politics of Albania in the late 90s is pretty difficult. There's not a lot of huge
Yeah.
discussion going on about it. Um, very loose summary: the communists were leaving power, the socialists were coming in. There was a lot of violence, there was a lot of infighting around this time. I think when the film would have been getting released, uh, I think it was one of the previous communists, not leaders, but like thought leaders who was kind of leading the movement, got assassinated by one of the socialists. So
Right.
that kicked off a whole bunch of like violent revolutionary stuff in Albania, and a lot of people died as a result. The specifics, I'm sure I'm bungling. I apologize if I am. It seems like a very like heady and interesting thing that you could spend a lot of time reading about. But
Yeah, because I mean, the kid says a bunch of men came, they started shooting, they kept shooting. That's it. That's all you know about the village is it was besieged by gunmen and the kid fled. And you know a lot of kids fled because that's why a lot of them are in like this part of Greece.
that's why they're the squeegee boys. That's why they're
Yeah.
the red light boys. Yeah,
So like you don't need to know what happened other than like what happened was bad and there are people who facilitated it happening.
yeah.
And
So
yeah, I mean
that
it stays good for that.
again, that border scene when they get to the Albanian border, um, they drive up. They're kind of standing there looking at the border, and the camera pans over, and we see the guard moving towards them. It's, these big wire grated walls, and there are these blobs on the walls.
Hmm.
And then you realize pretty quickly there's like it is people. They are not hanging like by the neck hanging. They are like clinging on. And then there's just enough of like motion. I think on like falls at some point. And I looked into what people thought of this scene just to kind of see if I was getting the same impression. Because my idea when I saw that and I realized that it's people like hanging onto the walls, I'm like, this is like actually hell. Like this is the
Yeah.
worst. You know, calling it hell is too simple, right? That puts an image of like the devil is poking you with a fucking thing. It's beyond that. It is soul death. It is it's just the worst thing that could happen to anyone ever. And it seems like the general, thought is that these people hanging is there to represent the people trying to escape Albania who died in the process, which I
Yeah.
think is a very plausible explanation and like such a
That was the vibe I got from it was like
god,
these are people who were shot while trying to climb the fence. And
or
like
even just like a representative of the people moving from Albania to Greece.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
even
yeah.
that it's necessarily one to one, just
Oh
people
yeah,
got
yeah. I mean
killed
like
trying to live.
the image to me is very much that like person climbing stopped death. You know,
Yeah.
nobody takes the corpse down. Like that's the image. But yeah, the actual like representation there, I get the idea like that. That shot, I'm trying to remember when it is in the movie. It's mirrored. There is another shot where you have a bunch of
Oh.
kids in very similar shapes
It's the
overlooking
wedding.
something that's
They
happening.
they they climb up the gate to.
Yeah, yeah, that was the vibe I got when
Oh no no
he's
no 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 no! It's
not the
it's
wedding.
the squeegee boy death after the
That was it.
funeral.
Yes, the Squeegee
The
Boy death
camera's
is
panning
exactly the
back
same,
out from
right?
the hospital, and they
Yeah,
all like kind of stand around to just look at the camera fading back, and
and some
in
of them are
like
hanging on the gates and things behind to
yeah,
watch, and it
and
very
it's one of these
much gave
things
me
where like
like,
it,
oh,
it's too many kids to be a young boys gang, and we've just dealt
yeah,
with the death of a squeegee boy who randomly, like off screen, we just learned that he's died. Like this is, you're right, it's definitely a mirror of like, hey, the refugees escaping war-torn Albania are killed. The refugees who made it to Greece are being killed. Like this is not a safe, comfortable place for these people.
yeah.
What an empathetic movie. What a horribly sad movie that doesn't need to like say, did you know communists and socialists killed a bunch of people for you to get like, damn dude, this shit sucks.
The worst version of this movie is when our main character leaves a bunch of stuff to the kid in his will, right? Like it's very,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to pull anything like that. It's able to just let him escape on the boat, and you don't know where the boat's going. Like so, yeah. I mean that's a big thing to the ending of this. Nobody gets a resolution. Nothing
No.
is resolved. Obviously, one of the thesis statements of the movie is about this man who has not finished anything.
Doesn't
Of
get the
course,
kid
the
to
movie is
Albania,
not
like,
gonna.
yeah.
Yeah, the movie is not going to wrap up neatly, and it wraps up in such a like ambiguous is the wrong word because you kind of do know some things and you just don't know some things. It's not like they went like, "Ooh, what happened?" It's just like completely without closure. It is, for want of a better term, like it just stops. It ends, and you know, like it continues. You don't know how long it continues. You don't know what's going to happen to any of these characters in a way that's very. That's how you read it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a plot to be solved.
Each character has a definitive ending scene that in any other typical presentation of a movie would be a cliffhanger scene, and you would pick up back with them some other
Yeah.
time.
You're saying you don't want to see an Eternity in a Day 2 when the kid gets to Albania?
An eternity in 2 days?
An Eternity in 2 days? The day after an Eternity in a day?
Oh no. 2 days before the day after an eternity in a
Yeah.
day.
The
There's the
prequel is just an
cinematic universe
eternity.
potential here. We can really spin this off into a. God, can you imagine Theo Angelopoulos making a sequel? Just fucking two corpses on the floor, just like. Just an old sad dead man and a kid who's fucking drowned in the water for no reason. Like, what a horrible idea.
Yeah, the boat sank. That's it. Dude, it's
But
when he makes a movie in 30 years' time, and it's this old man walking around telling his life, and then one of the flashbacks is just that he was the kid. Like, I would throw my fucking
yeah,
controller at the
yeah.
screen.
Put
I
the
would grab the
entire
nearest
Eternity in a Day
object.
movie back into the sequel.
Yeah. One flashback, except the kid is just the adult actor now in all of those flashbacks because that's how we do that.
But yeah, for as much as I am admiring this movie and I'm liking it, I do think I've written down two notes again, which I want to highlight because I
Yeah.
think they are funny to see in context. My first note is child narrating metaphor into piano music as a starter, definitely an artsy movie. And my last note is otherwise unseen trio of musicians getting on the bus to play some classical music. Yup, it's an art movie. Like, what a bookend of arty farty pretentious bullshit that I am all in for, you know?
Yeah. This is the kind of movie where I definitely would be like, I would be hesitant to recommend it to someone if I didn't know they already like that kind of shit. Like, I
Yeah,
would not be like, oh, you should watch this, it's a good movie. There's a decent risk of you not getting it, and not because you're like an idiot, but because like it's easy to not get, and it is very slow. So like, you might bounce off of it pretty hard and just give up because it has not got like a lot of interest in like spoon feeding you anything. It just wants to show image on screen in a way that's really affecting. And
yeah.
I think most people would enjoy it. And I think then, yeah, there are some times where people will be like, it's a little bit artsy fartsy. And I'm like, that's not a bad thing, though. That's really good.
Yeah, I'm trying. I don't know if I think this is a most people would enjoy it kind of film because I definitely do think there are arty farty films that are a most people would enjoy it if you actually watched it. I don't really think this is one because you feel like the driving motivation is get the kid to Albania, but it really doesn't focus on that for a lot. Like they go to the border and they come back and they just kind of, in the literal events of the movie, they just kind of mill around doing nothing
Yeah.
for like a while, you know. And I think for the film festival, you know, Cannes type crowd, that's fine. For the let's go watch a movie and talk about it afterwards crowd, that's probably not what you're
I
coming
suppose,
for,
yeah, when I, when
which
I, when
is
I
fair.
think about recommending a movie, I realize that I'm autistic. And so, like, when I'm trying to figure out what another person wants, because I realize, I guess, now that when someone says, hey, should I watch this? They kind of mean like on a random afternoon for just something to do.
Yeah,
Not like, hey, I want to watch a movie. What movie should I watch? Which is kind of like the way I frame it because that's how I engage with like media. It's the same with like albums, right? Like if someone says recommend me some music, I'll be like, you should listen to the entirety of Hospice by the Antlers in one sitting. with nothing else happening, and that's kind of not what they mean.
No, they mean
And
like I am working on something menial. I want some cool sounding background noise that I can
yeah,
potentially look at later on and like properly engage with. And this is not a movie where that will work. If you look away, you will not be lost, but you will lose it. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Where
yeah.
you need to be fully enveloped by it. And if you break that spell, you will have a really hard time coming back in.
It's a very active watch, and the movie
Yes.
resists that it's a very active watch
Yeah.
by being difficult to be actively watched, which is,
But
I think, in part of why it's so good to actively watch it.
again, like, I talk about taking notes, and apart from the first one where I said kid doing poetry into piano music, like that was 30 seconds to the movie, right?
Yeah,
Like you look at the fucking Chevenard board, it's 3 minutes 50, 7 minutes, 12 minutes. Turning a day, my first note's 28 minutes in. Because suddenly there's child trafficking. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm locked in
yeah,
for
yeah.
most of this movie because it is a good watch, and if you're willing to accept that it is a little bit slow, a little ponderous, and you got a guy talking about connecting with a phantom across his apartment by playing music. Like what a fucking arty farty idea, but it's good, dude. Like
There's
that's my
a
pitch. It's really
that
arty farty, but it is good.
that across the apartment bit. I really like thinking back on that. It is a very like almost a thesis statement for the not just this film, but like this kind of film
Mm,
where he mentions like every day I play some music and the person across the apartment block they play the same music back to me. It's like a little game. Once I thought about going to see them, and I thought it was best if I didn't know who they were.
yeah.
That's like how you're supposed to engage with like this, right? It's like don't try to solve it. Let it exist how it exists. Don't try and figure out exactly what it's trying to do or
Mm,
exactly what it is or what the literal reading is.
but like
Um,
thinking back on it after having seen the movie, I do think that it's almost a critique of Alexandros because again, he's a man who's never finished anything. He
mm,
and maybe this is just for the sake of time, but like he doesn't even play the full song, he just plays a snippet. And then the completion of this relationship would be to meet them and say, like, hey, what is our link here? Do we just enjoy the same music? Are we, soulmates? Is there a bond that we can find from this? But he doesn't even finish that thing. He knows that there is someone out there with a like unifying point that he can relate to, and he doesn't even go to complete it, despite finding the isolation and feeling trapped in himself and knowing that he is in this depressive state. I think maybe you can look at it as like the don't go to
no,
solve
yeah,
it
I can see that. Yeah,
literally, but also like it's like Alexandros is it's a movie about like it feels like it should be more vindictive than it is when you talk about how this guy just can't finish anything. It should feel critical, but it just feels like really sad instead. I just feel bad for the guy because he doesn't seem like a bad dude, you know?
it's funny that actually. I like because I think I mean obviously this is a art is kind of half of what you bring to it as well. Because obviously I think my reading of that there is partly because I personally am a like sometimes it's fine to just accept the like state of things,
Yeah,
not in a like political sense,
yeah,
but like,
yeah.
but I mean in the sense of like I view the person across the apartment block. It's like death or consciousness, right?
mm,
It's almost like we don't know what happens.
mm,
Okay, stop trying to figure it out, right? And like I think because I was reading this as such a deathy film, and I have such a like, I think about death a lot, and I thought about death a hell of a lot. Um, not so much negatively anymore, but like there was that acceptance of like, oh, I guess we just don't know. So like, why stress? Why worry about it? Like, just accept that there is a almost like a romanticization or like a bit of beauty in the fact that it's like, we don't know, and it's like this idea of like leaving some things unknown is nice. It's a pleasant
mm,
thing to fall into. What's interesting is with your additional reading, it's also a bit of a trap to romanticize that idea of like we don't know, we won't finish. I think a lot of people do that, and I think Alexandros is very guilty of that, like
yeah,
letting yourself just fall off of it, letting yourself not necessarily even want to finish it, almost identifying yourself more with the stuff that you haven't done than you have done. Because that
He
is,
very much does that.
yeah,
Like he says, everything he does, he doesn't finish, even to the extent where he doesn't visit his mother. I feel like because the idea of starting that would create another thing that he isn't finishing because he doesn't do it consistently, right? So he just doesn't even start visiting his mother in the hospital. Like there is this real sadness in the man unwilling to move on for fear of just having another failure. Even though at some point these aren't failures, it's just life. You know?
it's a really interesting point, and it is more of a literal read situation where when his doctor finds him on the like boardwalk, like pier
The
kind
peer,
of
yeah,
area,
yeah.
yeah, and he's talking about how like the doctor grew up with his poems and his books, so like he did at one point in the past finish something, and almost the way the movie is set up and the way Alexandros talks about it is like he has never finished anything. And that actually like came to me like, oh, it's interesting that like he has works out there. You're never going to find out what they were. You're never going to find out what they are. But like someone mentioning, oh, I did that, and then really funny because the doctor struggled to tell him like the final part of
And he
his
finished the
diagnosis.
sentence. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Um, but also like the doctor is the only person who is explicitly engaged with his completed works, and he's like the only other character who doesn't complete something.
Yeah,
Like it's really
some
fun.
kind
Like
of parallel
I
there,
don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how intentional that is, or it's just a funny little like coincidence in the way the narrative is structured. But it was really funny to me because it's like, oh, the only guy who acknowledges it is like the one guy who also like fell for the trap.
I think this
Um,
is I forget when we talked about it, but the curtains are blue thing, where people are very restricted on the
resistant.
idea of looking at metaphor in things.
Yeah,
And when you get a movie like this, you can admit freely that not everything is a metaphor or an allegory, but when it's talking in so much metaphorical language, it leaves you these spaces where you can, like you just did there, right, potentially find metaphor that wasn't intended, but if there's coherence, it can amplify the thing, even just through your perception. And, I brought them up already, I'll bring them up as much as I can. As David Lynch has said before, the film is the thing. You don't need to explain it. You watch the film, you get into it, and what you take from it is as important as the making of and presenting of the thing itself.
that's that one, right? I think there's a worse way to engage with this film, which is for me to say that about the Doctor and then go and find out if the author confirmed it,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's like I don't need to know if
It's
that was
like when
intentional.
when I was looking up slow motion, I was looking up the border scene. I kind of opened a couple of links, skimmed. It's like cool, roughly what I'm thinking. Don't worry about it. Close them. We're on the same page. We may not be looking at the same sentence, but we're on the same page, and that is enough to make this thing cohere in my brain as like a thing that like is congealed properly.
I wonder when people who resist this notion of like trying to read metaphor into things or read the metaphors that are clearly in a thing, how do they think about a film? Because like I find it really fun to like to look back on the movie and notice little things like because in the moment I didn't notice that doctor thing, and then as I thought about it, I'm like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it kind of comes
Like,
to you.
how is it that people don't want to do that? And like, is that why we end up with like notions of like canon and law? Because it's like I only really want to engage with the quote unquote real parts of the film, but like everyone still wants to go and engage with the film if they really enjoyed it, right? And I think that's why you end up with this problem of people who they do look to the creator as like a creator in the like divine sense.
Mm.
Like, oh, is this true? Is this real? In the movie, is this metaphor actually there? Even though it's like well, the metaphor's there if it's intended or not. That's it's kind of how metaphor can like work
Yeah.
sometimes. Like you can find metaphors in your real life, but let me tell you, nobody wrote that shit. So like it's interesting to view it that way because it's like, do you end up in a situation where that's why people go and write, these long wikis confirming that like ants are canon in Star Trek, right? Like it's Like, is that what happens? Is that why we have this kind of like, I don't want to call it like slop culture, but it's how a
No,
lot of people
I
read film and like video games and things. Is like they want canon because they've rejected like allegory.
well, okay. Talking about like slop culture, I think there is no better way to discuss it than to talk about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Um, the scene where they're in the trash compactor, Mark Hamill's in an interview saying, like, I said to Harrison, hey, shouldn't my hair have all schmutz in it because I just came out of the trash compactor? Harrison Ford says, kid, it's not that kind of movie. I love Star Trek.
Mm.
It's not that kind of series with a few episodes excluded, right? Like, a lot of these things can be looked at more metaphorically and allegorically, and you can maybe look at a lot of things in the same depth that you look at a movie like this, which is giving you the thematic artistic space to look at them. But a lot of them are being made in a 26 episode series in 2 weeks that is being made because it needs to fill a time slot
Yeah.
rather than some Greek weirdo getting sad about the fact that a poet never finished a thing that he liked. To put it as bluntly and straightforwardly as I can there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. It's one of those ones that sits with me because I run into this a lot in like, to use an example, like I absolutely loathe the works of Brandon Sanderson. Right. I just
Having
think
read
he's.
none of them, I believe.
I've read a decent bit of the Wave Kings and the one where people get heavy metal poisoning to cast magic.
Mistborn. Yeah.
That's the one. Um, they're both shit, and they're bad for the reasons that like the opposite reason of why a movie like this is good. I feel like Sanderson writes for the purpose of enriching the lives of wiki editors. Right, it
Considering
gives
he's
them
hired two
something
of
to
them to
write.
be his consultants, I think that is
Exactly, right.
correct, yes.
Like he writes his fiction in a solvable way, which is disgusting to me. It is like absolutely sickening that you would want to write your fiction in a way where people engage with it by trying to find out how the magic system works or how the real works and things like that.
Yeah.
You look at a movie like Eternity in a Day, which I may be the first person to compare this to Mistborn, but
Yeah,
the
very possible.
the time parts, like the little flashback slices and things, and flashback's even like an awkward term because it's the best word I have for what they are, but they're not.
It's the closest thing to it. Like, I
Yeah,
don't think it is that abstract that you can't call it a flashback. It's just taking a different approach to the presentation of a flashback.
yeah. It's I don't think it covers how they're presented in as nice a way because flashback
Yes.
has
Yeah.
some connotation to it, but like it's people who would be trying to piece together Alexandros's life from the flashbacks without realizing like they may not have 100% fidelity, even though they are on film with characters and stuff like that. I don't know.
I
There's
mean,
something
hold
about
on. The
like
real
yeah.
the real thing you're gonna watch out for is the people who will go like, ah, but he's in the same clothes. So what time travel power does he have?
Yeah,
A
yeah. I mean
magical
that's
Greek
true.
man is zipping through time. It's like the time traveler's wife. Yes, I'm very smart. I figured this one out
Yeah.
to a
Turns
T.
out this was a Benjamin Button situation.
He
He did look like that at
just
the time.
just gets
But yeah, it's just
sadder as his life goes on rather than
it's like
getting younger.
this. The reason I think I like these art housey type things is because I just hate the idea of like needing a literal read on any fiction. It's just it's such a boring way to engage with like the unreal.
Uh, but some fiction is made for literal reads, though. Like, and not all of it is bad. You know, a lot of Star Trek is made for literal reads. Some of the good Star Wars stuff is made for literal reads. You are a guy who likes Warhammer 40k. Like, I know you like it ironically, and you're not there saying this is the best shit ever made, but you've still read many books of the Horus Heresy, right? Like, those books are not art house fucking deep thinkers. There's a book where a guy with a big gun shoots an orc in the mouth and goes,
Okay.
for the
So
Emperor.
you've actually segued into the point I think that I'm trying to make haphazardly.
Right.
I like those books, but I hate when someone asks me if character A could beat character B in a fight.
Yeah, I get that.
Right. That's what I mean, right? It's that like that kind of little reading of like all of this is real and thus can be treated like it's real. like people will say like, "Oh, this book doesn't make sense because these Marines didn't use that kind of gun," and I'm like it's just
The
not how I want to engage with fiction.
story needs a guy to get a missile from one point to another. That's the purpose of it. Don't
Yeah,
worry about the specific gun.
I
Like,
think it's that. It's less that I don't want people to read things literally. It's like I want people to like engage with them like narratively, like
yeah,
understand that like what they're doing, that's what they're doing. Don't try and like solve the plot. I think is that may be my fundamental thing is like I hate plot solvers and I
yeah.
hate
No, I
like
get that.
world solvers.
I still do think there is some stuff that is not like atrocious that is leaning into that, where it wants to be a more like solvable, theorizable thing. It's not usually what I'm into. It's not usually what I'm going to be reading or like engaging with. This is much more my speed. But I think it's not like banish
Yeah,
it
I
to the
mean,
shadow realm.
so like it's a funny one, right? Because I pissed someone off actually with this statement, because it denied any argument with me, which is a really good trick if you're gonna do this. I said like I hate this way of like world building and things like that. I was in like an RPG conversation, talking about like designing games and things,
Mm.
and I said this like a very similar thing, and then I kind of capped it off with like, but it is all vibes, right? Like I don't intend to have 100% consistency with my beliefs. I still watch like Varty video when he does his
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Dark
yeah.
Souls lore videos, right? Like I say I don't like it because there are elements of it that I do not like, and there are strong elements of it that people do consistently like wrong enough that I'm like broadly I don't like this thing. And I'm a person who speaks quite hyperbolically, but also like I'm not going to say there is no amount of hypocrisy in it and that it's not 100% consistent because there are definitely times where yeah, I'll engage with things in that way and enjoy them for that,
Yeah.
which again makes it really hard to argue against because unfortunately I am not a straw man.
No,
like
when you admit to someone that you are fully willing to be slightly hypocritical because you want something to listen to while you're going to sleep, and you kind of enjoy
yeah,
some aspect of slop, is like, yeah, dude, I do not care about this thing as much as you do, which kind of solves the problem right then and there. Like, if you want to talk about eternity in a day for 2 hours, I'll engage with that. If you want me to defend why I'm okay listening to ex YouTuber, but not fucking MatPat. It's like I'm not gonna do that shit, dude.
yeah.
You gotta leave it by the door.
But I mean, it's true. I mean, obviously, like film is a really good one for this. Like, I could see us having people who disagree with us, and they would say something that I might even just agree with, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, maybe I didn't believe that the way I said it actually.
Yeah. Well, like language is such an imperfect way to get things across as well. Like I was stumbling over it then talking about the gates of Albania because I still have a really clear idea in my head of what I think that thing is depicting, and it's not hell, and it's not soul death, and it's not the worst thing that could happen. But it's in my head and I know what I'm thinking about, and it's something close to all of those words, but you don't know what I'm talking about because I can't get it into you.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually like it's really funny because that is a part of why I think films like this are so good is because like, yeah, there is noise. Like, it's not 100% like high fidelity for
Yeah.
me to try and present an idea either in words or on film. Like, you're going to lose some things and you're going to pick up some noise, and it's going to, even not outright change, at least affect the message that you're
Yeah.
trying to get across. And it's
But
also
sometimes
like,
also even
yeah,
with the noise, sometimes the most effective way that you can get across this message to someone else just from what you've picked up on the thing is just to show them it, right? Just sit them down and say like, this is what I'm feeling. And
yeah.
I can't get it across to you, but maybe you can find the link
It's
if you
funny,
watch the
right?
thing I'm
Like,
watching.
it's really funny because I think I mentioned this about the favorite movie thing, right? This is exactly why I say when someone says, "What's your favorite movie?" and I think they're asking a different question. I just
Mm.
say The Lighthouse because I think it's the highest fidelity way to answer the question I think they're getting at.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
really funny. Like, it's like, oh yeah, I don't believe in the concept of a favorite X. I guess here, if you watch this, you'll understand what I like. I guess it's not going to be perfect, and if you ask me on a different day, I might say a different movie. But like, I don't know.
I
I
think
can't
that
sit down and tell you my favorite movie is one that doesn't exist, but it would have all these key points and also some shit I couldn't even think of.
I think that's a good example as well because, like, most often when we've talked about movies, you will consistently refer to Alien as your favorite movie, but
Yeah,
something like The Lighthouse more broadly gets across what you will generally like in a movie compared to what Alien does. You just like Alien more because of the specific things that it does.
yeah. Like, I just really like Alien.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, that's a good
yeah.
example, right? Even though, yeah, I think 9 times out of 10, when I'm talking to someone who knows me and knows me well, Alien is my answer to what's my favorite movie. When I'm answering it to someone who is asking if we're just talking and I don't really know them very well, and they say, "What's your favorite movie?" The Lighthouse. Like the answer has, um, like it serves a function to
Yeah.
me. It's really funny
Well,
actually. You point that out. Yeah.
from now on, you can just say Chairman of the Board instead because you've seen it.
Yeah, I love Carrot Top. He's my favorite movie monster. Can you
God, if you want to
imagine
get
like the
across the
edit?
fucking morbidity of horror and like fucking Carrot Top, yeah.
Yeah, morbidity's right, dude. He's morbid everywhere.
Think he would morb all over the place.
Carrot Top. I tell you what, the only way to make that movie worse is the Jared Leto.
Uh, he okay. Sex pestery aside, he is a better actor than Carrot Top, but would he be appropriate for chairman of the board? I don't know.
No, you know it pisses me off that Jared Leto is a main character in like one of my favorite Nick Cage movies.
Oh, Lord of War.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I really
you'll
like that
just
movie.
start to like Face Off more, and it'll solve the problem.
Ah, I see. I don't know. Lord of War's really cool though. I like that movie.
Oh, Face Off. Are you
Face,
high?
yeah.
Face Off is cool as fuck, dude.
I mean, I haven't seen Face Off since I was like a child.
You should watch it now. It holds up. It's 2.5 hours long and it feels like 60 minutes. It fucking flies, dude. Shit is stupid as hell and I love it.
Yeah, I might give it a shot. Well, okay, that's the thing. Look, Lord of War is a Nick Cage movie that's extremely grand. Anyway, this isn't the Nick Cage podcast.
No, no,
Um,
hold on, it could be. If you want a grounded Nick Cage movie, you watch Pick.
oh, yeah, okay.
If you want a David Lynch Nick Cage movie, you watch Wild at Heart.
I mean, when we run out of years, we're gonna start picking like directors and actors and stuff. That'll be a good way to
Yeah,
do it.
yeah. At one point, we're gonna run into Nick Cage. I'm not sure if it's gonna be best or worst movie, but I will
It's
be
crazy
holding the
that it
banner.
really could be either.
It could be either. I think it's more likely to be best, but it could very well be worst.
If there's any actor that could be in both the movies we've got to watch one week,
Oh, I gotta look for his filmography, find a movie they released find a year he
yeah,
released
yeah.
two
Like,
movies in, and just what's the chance?
I mean, the remake of The Wicker Man. When did that come out?
Oh, that was bad during a bad Cage. This is the thing. He doesn't do like good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. He does like a string of good, string of bad, string of good, string of
Yeah,
bad.
it's because it correlates directly with his financial situation.
Yeah.
Like once he got back out of hot water, he started making like Mandy and shit, right? Like that.
Yeah. Mandy and Pig, yeah, now he's in
Yeah,
fucking Spider Noir and shit, you know? It's
yeah. Like he's rocking it. He's doing all right now
oh
financially. He sold
god.
the haunted house.
What a funny guy.
You know, he bought a haunted house and two albino king cobras and a
Yeah,
shark.
yeah, probably.
To be
I
fair
believe
to
you. I
Nick
don't know if it's
Cage,
true, but I believe you.
like anytime I read about Nick Cage purchasing history, I understand like how that can happen. Like if someone told me this house is haunted and I had like $1 billion, I'm owning the haunted house.
You know what the funniest thing about Nick Cage spending habits and general freakery is?
Huh.
He buys Superman issue 1. He names his son Kal-El. Then he says, "No, my son isn't named after Superman." What the fuck are you talking about, Nicholas? Yes, he
Yeah,
is.
great granddad
It's
Kal-El.
called Kal-El. Anyway, let's put some movies on an arbitrary tier list, shall we? So,
Yeah.
we have it here. We have Banger's Gold Star, It's Good, It's Fine, our newly named Don't Watch These, rather than Too Interesting to Call Bad, Consolation
Yep.
Prize, and Trash. Chairman of the board. I think it's definitely in trash. I think it's like maybe top of trash.
I think it's worse than the Titanic.
Yeah, I could see that. Titanic movie was more interesting to like
Yeah,
think about. Scared to
like
death, better than scared to death.
better than Scared to Death. Didn't have strange depictions of small people.
Which is really shocking.
It's weird how not aggressively problematic Chairman of
Yeah,
the
there
Board
was
was.
no jokes about the black guy. There was no like homophobia.
Was
Character
there
was
any
in a
like
skirt.
fat? Was there any fat phobia?
I feel like the landlady was just kind of made fun of for being fat, but then Carrot Top makes fun with the he makes friends with the old guys who are fat.
Yeah, the only thing that I think was maybe potentially sketchy was that she had the
The voice.
tracheotomy voice
Yeah,
modulator
yeah.
thing. I don't like. I think that was probably only included for the joke, but also I'm not sure. Other than that, Carrot Top, walk icon.
Uh, we'll get to that.
We haven't got long
Actually,
left.
let's do this now. Let's just do this very quickly. I didn't get a bunch of things
Also, I want
for.
to say that I said that sarcastically, just in case anyone listening has the media literacy of a Carrot Top fan.
Don't worry,
Uh, I do
because
not think he may be a walk icon.
before we go into, well, I didn't get enough reviews of who said that. I picked up one. Someone who said, "We as a society need to stop making art for money and need to start giving artists money." It was about chairman of the board, and as I scoured the reviews, a lot of people were saying like, "This is an anti-work, anti-corporation piece of art that is not hateful. Why does everyone hate this movie? Carrot Top is woke and cool." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you smoking, my dude?"
It was just the '90s. Like, executive is the easy villain. Like, that's just normal. Like yes, they're right, but they weren't doing that as like a political statement. Everybody
Yeah.
in the '90s was counterculture. It was cool.
Anyway, Eternity and a Day. My instinct puts it like top of Gold Star. I feel like it's a me issue for
Yeah,
not putting it in bangers because I don't know enough to put it in bangers to like have fully
okay.
appreciated it, right?
I think my thing with it is if we put it in gold star in six
Yeah,
weeks' time, it'll have moved up to banger.
potentially, yeah.
Like that's
Also,
how
speaking
I'm.
of, I'm gonna move Great Dictator down to the bottom of its good, just to bring Ace in
Yeah.
the Hole. I'm gonna move Ace in the Hole above
Okay,
Candyman's Revenge as well.
Dude, Ace in the Hole is all. It's almost moved up to gold star for me.
I want to rewatch it because I know I had some issues with it, but I'm happy with it reshuffled there.
Yeah. Anyway, we should move Godfather down. Nah, so just so you can use that as the thumbnail, so people.
Well, I'm not photoshopping someone to be a paedophile this time.
Yeah, I think. What have we
I'm
got
up
at the
for
bottom of
moving, like I'm up
bangers?
for adjusting. Bangers is Buster Keaton 1 week, we have Green Mile, we have Paper Moon, There Will Be Blood.
Oh, yeah, okay. Hmm. Nah, yeah, it can sit at the top of Gold Star for now. I'm thinking about like Paper Moon. I mean, nobody knows is kind of like undethronable. Um,
It's
There
very
Will Be
high up
Blood
there,
just like
yeah.
fucking hits me. That's like still like one of my favorite things I've watched. Just like a stress movie. Seven Samurai just fucking rocked the
Yeah,
entire time. I was
great
shocked
time.
by how good that was. Green Mile is the Green Mile. I think we talked about it at the time. It's really funny getting reminded how good of an actor Tom Hanks is.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
And I was thinking back to that fucking 2 minute rant I did about Percy in the Green Mile. No
yeah,
other character in fiction makes me that mad as
dude, I mentioned to you I've
Percy.
been watching the X Files and
Yeah, he showed up, didn't
Percy's
he?
yeah he shows up really early on. And I was like, holy shit, that fucked me up. I was not
Did he
ready for
marry
that.
any teenagers in that series either?
Nah, he's a cosmic ancient vampire or some shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he
All right,
can
well,
scrunch himself up and climb through vents.
that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Okay,
not as
that's our
bad
tier
of a
list
Percy though.
additions. Yeah, weird. Eternity and Day goes at top of Gold Star. Chairman of the Board sits near the top of Trash. Let's
Yeah,
see what
I'll
movies
accept
we're
it.
seeing next time.
1705.
Uh,
If our history is accurate
oh,
to
not
us.
far off. I know we're cycling back around. Oh,
2000 and
2006. That'll be a
Chairman of the
full-length
Board
movie.
2.
You're Let's see. So most popular 2006 is Devil Wears Prada,
Oh,
which we'll
really?
probably not be watching because I can't imagine
Wait,
that's
when
a
did The Dark Knight come
letterboxed.
out? Was that 2008?
Dark Knight, yes, right? Yes,
Oh, got it in
2008.
fucking one, dude. The Joker
Yeah.
was so cool.
Dark Knight Twilight, Iron Man. What a fucking
What an
nightmare of a
interesting
year.
year. Yeah.
Anyway, 2006. Most popular is Devil Wears Prada.
That's probably not going to be
Least,
the most liked.
probably not. Least highest rated is I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer.
I've seen that.
Oh no.
I've actually seen this movie.
Highest rated is Panic at the Disco live show, My Chemical Romance live show, The Departed. Oh, Scorsese.
Yeah.
Okay, several teenagers in a small town in Colorado concoct a July 4th prank based on a frightening legend that goes around and their friend ends up accidentally killed. And The Departed. Cops are criminals when you're facing a loaded gun, and what's the difference? I've seen this movie in 45-second shorts on YouTube. I'm still looking forward to watching it.
It's the guy from Catch Me If You Can.
It is.
People are going to think I don't know who he is when I say that, actually. All right, yeah.
No,
I haven't seen All Is Not What You Did Last Summer, but I've seen
you just seen the first
one of the Scary Movies.
Okay.
I think that also lambasts it, and I just... Yeah, fucking hell.
So 92 minutes and 151 minutes each. Both proper movie length. I'm looking forward to watching The Departed. I've seen so many clips on YouTube. It's based on a Hong Kong movie, I'm pretty sure.
Oh. And it's good? Foreign film remade by American and good?
Remade by Martin Scorsese.
Okay, alright, yeah, never mind.
Marty, Marty, you gotta remake a film, Marty.
I'll accept that he probably remade it because he wanted to.
He's remade like multiple foreign movies, I believe. I can't think of any just by scrolling down here, but I'm pretty sure he's like made.
He's pretty good at that whole.
Oh, Nicolas Cage, Bring Out the Dead. What a movie! Great movie.
Nick Cage got such a funny face for like the guy he is, because he's got such a like serious character actor look about him.
He frequently is a serious character actor. He's not just...
Yeah, no. I understand that he is a very good actor and a very good character actor at that, but like him as a person is a goof. Like he's a funny guy. Like he is almost like he like got that as a gift. Like it doesn't feel like it matches his personality.
I don't know. I've seen him talking about German expressionism. He seems very serious when he's talking about Nosferatu.
I'd love to talk to Nick. I reckon I'd get along with Nick Cage.
Yeah.
He seems to really like his shit that he likes. You know, I like a person like that.
He's infinitely cooler than probably anyone I've ever known. Anyway, I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer and The Departed. Another pretty contemporary series of movies. We've on a streak of some movies in colour 2 weeks in a row.
That's wild. Usually we're watching shit from 1945. Like
all right, well,
weirdly gaining an extensive knowledge of like cinema in the 50s. If ever someone I'm talking to like hits me with a random movie and I'm like, yeah, this, I'm gonna sound like I'm really into film.
Reminds me of Bringing Up Baby with Katharine Hepburn, a classic if I do say so myself.
I did just randomly bring up Ace in the Hole while talking about true crime with someone at work.
Hell yeah, dude.
Like that was really funny because I'm not gonna say why I've seen it or like what I was doing, but like, oh yeah, here's like a movie from the 50s that goes really hard and it's a really good like dissection of like how bad people are for being into this shit. And I must have sounded so much smarter than I am.
It helps, right? It really does broaden things out. Alright, I'll put it on the list. I Always Know You Did Last Summer and The Departed from 2006. We will see you then to talk about the movies.
Enjoy. Go watch them. These ones, at least one of them is going to be tolerable.